Now, I've never used one of these Storm stands before, so this is like alien technology for me. So, okay. Oh, well, just popped out. Okay. So I guess put this around his waist and then push this one down into here.
Now put it on the lid. No, the lid. The lid. The lid.
I don't know. Oh dear. All right, guys. Today we are going to be reviewing the Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ken. So this actually arrived yesterday, and I've, waited until I recorded this review to actually, take a full look at it and everything. Based on my first impressions and of course reviews I've seen, this figure is incredible. And another note too, in this review, I'm gonna try to actually incorporate the green screen stuff. It might not look perfect because if shadows change and that kind of stuff, it can get a little messed up. I'm gonna try to make it look as clean as I can, or at least, very clean. But I won't, turn it on until we get past the box part, because he actually has some green on the box, so I don't want to green screen key that out. That's why I didn't review the Majin Vegeta with the green screen activated on the video, because he had green eyes, so it would his eyes would disappear, and tracking that for every single frame would just be ridiculous. So I didn't do that. But anyways, Storm Arena Alpha 3 Ken. First off, the box looks really, really good. Storm, of course, did not, take Jada's style of doing the arcade machine kind of looking boxes, like how, McFarlane has their Mortal Kombat figures in the arcade style box. This looks really good. Beautiful artwork of Ken right there, very well drawn. This is from the game, of course. I will say, of course, we know that Jada Toys announced that they are working on Street Fighter Alpha 3 next, or at least they plan to. Whether they, continue with it for the long term remains to be seen based on the interviews I saw. I will say that based on what I've seen for the artwork of the game, I think that, for example, with Ryu, the Jada Toys Ryu looks more like the artwork from the game, like this. But the the Storm Arena Ryu looks more realistic and more highly detailed, which I personally like. It's almost as if Jada Toys looks like the game art more so to me, and then Storm Arena looks more like the animated movie or something, it's like a bit more detailed. And for me, if I were to animate anything with Street Fighter Alpha, it would probably be stuff from the animated movie. So I actually prefer this style over the style Jada's going with, but I do think Jada's style, with the Ryu, looks pretty accurate as well. So it just depends on what you like. And of course, some people will buy both lines, that kind of stuff. I don't really, as far as Street Fighter goes, I don't collect a lot of different characters. I don't need a full roster, I don't need who is there? E Honda, Zangief, and T-Hawk and stuff. I don't need all the characters. I just collect a few people like Ryu, Ken, and Bison, Akuma, Vega, and Sagat. I mean, that's basically what I would collect. If someone were to do Street Fighter 4, I would want Gouken from Street Fighter 4 and Oni, but apart from them, there's not a lot of Street Fighter characters that I want. I'm not a completionist or whatever. So anyways, box looks good. Artwork of Ken. On the back, we have some poses here of the figure. Looks really, really cool. And note that this is for $30 from Big Bad Toy Store. I got it for a little less because I pre-ordered it a while ago before the price went up. But this is for $30 at Big Bad Toy Store. And you get way more value for your money than you get with the McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures, okay? And of course, we know that Storm Arena, I believe, and pretty much most people believe, if not everyone, Storm Arena was born out of Storm Collectibles realizing how successful Jada Toys was for, making Street Fighter figures in this scale for an affordable price and that kind of stuff. And so I do thank Jada Toys for starting what I consider to be a kind of movement in the figure industry, where companies are being challenged to offer high detail and good accessories for an affordable price. It's kind of like the new cool thing to do is to offer really detailed, good accessories action figures for a decent price. That's like the new cool thing to do, you know? And I feel like Jada Toys really started that. Then Jazzwares followed with the Total Anime line. And for Jazzwares, I'm hoping that they will do something that I actually want a lot soon. You know, they've done Attack on Titan, which I kind of want the figures, but not 100%. And then they also have done, they've done other stuff, but I'm hoping that they do like, let's say, One Punch Man. Like, can they do One Punch Man, please? Hunter x Hunter, right? That'd be great. Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man, and of course, Dragon Ball. If Total Anime were to do Dragon Ball, that would be incredible. I would definitely want some Dragon Ball Total Anime figures. But anyways, so let's get it out of the box and, you know, see how the green screen works, all right? Yeah, and I actually did not take it out of the box before this video, so that was a legit, like I needed to actually get this. So I'm trying to think the best way to open this, because this box is actually so beautiful that I don't want to like mess it up. I guess the bottom might be the best way to go. Let's go here. Cut that. And now we should be good to go. Just so if anything gets warped or damaged or whatever, it's the bottom of the box. All right, cool. And he has a backdrop. I don't really want that. All right, so this is what is in the, you know, clamshell. Now, one thing I don't like about Storm's packaging is I don't really like this kind of like soft plastic paper looking thing they have. It just kind of obscures the figure. Like when it's in the packaging, for example, you could barely see him clearly. I don't really like that. I wish Storm would not do that because it really makes it hard to see the figure from, you know, when it's in the box. But anyways, this is in the clamshell, okay? And we also have a stand here. We're gonna look at that in a bit. Let's take him out of the clamshell. That was pretty easy. All right, yeah, you see this? I don't really like this stuff here. It just obscures the figure a bit. All right, and here is the actual, you know, stuff more clearly seen. This is like a fire shoryuken, you know, kind of effect. Here we have Ken. This is awesome. I will say this is my all-time favorite look for Ken. The long hair, red ribbon, alpha look. That is my favorite look for Ken. And the hands are like soft. Okay, let's get them out. All right. This is awesome, man. This is cool. This is cool. All right, so his joints are a little stiff. Okay, they loosened up a bit. Okay. All right, they loosened up a bit. So yeah, here is Ken. All right, can I get a close up here? Yeah, there we go. That looks awesome. Love it. Really, really cool. And look at the hair. That is awesome, man. As I said, this is my favorite look for Ken ever. So Storm Arena literally started with like my most desired Ken figure. You know, this is so cool to me. So that looks awesome. Let's look at the other head sculpt, which is this one right here. And he's just kind of like, you know, like a you know, arrogant kind of smirk kind of thing. That looks really, really good too. And the hair is pretty soft, so it shouldn't hinder articulation too much. You see, that is so, so cool. And for the extra hands, of course, he has fists on the figure in the package, but he has these like, you know, Hadouken hands right here. If we can focus, let's see, there we go. Yeah, he has these Hadouken hands, which look really cool. Love it, you know, Hadouken, you know. And he has this peace sign hand right here, right? And then he has this kind of like, you know, bring it on, taunting someone kind of hand. So that looks really, really good too. And then for the figure itself, we just saw this head sculpt, of course. The gi looks like pretty detailed, you know. It has that texturing in it. You see there's a little bit of a dark wash going on for some shading. The belt is here. The belt is pretty soft. I think the belt can be pulled out. Yeah, but I won't touch that. I'm pretty sure you can remove the gi and have him be shirtless, but I'm not gonna really be doing that because I'm never really gonna have him. I'm not gonna ever need him looking like that. Yeah, Then the gloves look really good. The sculpt looks incredible. I mean, honestly, this is like incredible. I mean, this is right now, I'm asking myself whether this is my new favorite figure, like in my entire collection. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, is this my new favorite figure, period? Like not even just Street Fighter, just my favorite figure at all. You know, it might be. So yeah, anyways. So sculpt looks really good. Red ribbon on the hair, all that stuff. Fantastic. Looks great. Let us now do the articulation. All right. So the head, let's see. He can look that far down. Pretty good. How far up can he go? Not much at all because of the hair, you know. As I would think because of the hair really hinders that. Of course, he can go probably full 360. I won't take it a full 360 though. He can, you know, do like a little side kind of thing. And the neck actually, yeah, the neck moves too. So that's awesome. Those who collect Dragon Ball will know that a lot of Dragon Ball SH Figuarts, you know, they have the cut for the neck, but it doesn't seem to really work a lot of the time. So that's really good to see the neck actually working. You know, that's awesome. And then the torso, let's see the ab crunch. Let's see here. I'm not really, let's see. Okay. So he can go like that for the ab crunch, which is pretty good, right? Now let's see how far back he can go. I guess he can go like that far back. So pretty good, you know. Not the most incredible thing. I think the rubbery gi kind of limits it a bit probably, but it's still pretty good, you know. And then let's see the butterfly joints. Let's see how those go. Okay, looks pretty solid, right? Pretty good right there. That's the butterfly joint on for you. Going back is not very much, at least not from that angle. We got the bicep swivel, of course, right here. Bicep swivel. Joint is a little stiff, but not too bad. Double jointed elbow, right? Then we have the wrist swivel, of course. And okay, yeah, there's like a ball hinge here, you see? Zoom in, focus, there we go, ball hinge going on here. And the hands are like a soft rubbery kind of material, so that's why it came off so easily, which I don't mind. It's like way less chance of your pegs breaking and stuff with that. But yeah, so I'm actually very impressed that Storm, although these are, you know, cheaper figures, they're still using some of the rubbery stuff that they're known for, because actually even the chest, I just noticed, the chest right here is a soft rubber. So that's really good. The torso, I think, well, not the torso, the abdomen is hard, I believe. Yeah, but the chest piece is actually a soft material. So that's really, really cool. All right, so that's for the arms. And then the legs, so let's see, full splits. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Full splits, okay. He can go forward. Right? Oh, he has drop down hips as well. The drop down right there, you see. Yeah, he has drop down hips right there. That's cool. Gives it even more range. And then he can kick up pretty good, right? I think if you drop it down, you can take it further. Let's see. Yeah, you can go pretty far, but I wonder on the box, they have it going pretty drastic, I think. Hold on. Okay, yeah, the box doesn't really have it going crazy. Okay. Yeah, the box has him kicking like, let me show you, sideways, you see there? But nothing like insane like how the Yujiro in the promo images for Storm Arena is like kicking like straight, just vertically. So I guess that figure has better articulation than this one does, but this is still really, really good. Then we have, of course, the thigh cut right there, double jointed knees, right? Then we have a swivel here at the ankle and toe articulation right there. Oh, and an ankle hinge right here. So this is all really, really good, man. This is fantastic. Really, really awesome. Let me try to do, well, the accessories. So he has the Shoryuken hand right here, or the effect piece rather. Let's put this on right here. Just put it on like that. And yeah, there he goes. Shoryuken. Now I am certainly not, a figure photographer. I don't really pose much unless I'm actually animating something. But I know people like to see poses, so let's do a little pose right here. Yeah, something like that, right? decent sure, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And he also has a stand, but before that, let's try interchanging the head sculpt here. So we can see how that works. Just pop it off, right? Yep, nice and easy. Pop on the smirking one, this one here. This is awesome, man. All right, pop that on. Yeah, and now that's how he looks with the smirking head sculpt. Really, really cool. That is super, super cool. All right, and let's try the, different hands, I guess. So take these hands off. Let's give him the peace sign right here. And how about a Hadouken hand over here? Let's see. Hadouken hand right here to like put on his waist possibly. Like that. And then make him do the peace sign. Kind of tough to get it angled. Hold on. I just put that on and have him do like this. Yeah, so I think that's decent, you know. Of course, that hand is not meant to go in his, waist like that, but you know what I mean? Yeah, and I know someone in the comments is going to be like, oh, it's criminal that he didn't do a Hadouken pose. So let's do a Hadouken pose for the sake of that person. One more Hadouken hand. Let's see here. All right, so Hadouken is basically a Kamehameha, right? Let's see here. Hadouken. Let's get his arm across like this. I don't think they can go all the way, but they can go pretty close. Let's try. You gotta kind of like manipulate camera angles for it, I think. Yeah, which is a bit unfortunate. I wish that you could actually have his hands like perfectly in the Hadouken pose, but it could just be my lack of posing skills. But, basically like something like that, Hadouken, definitely could do it better. Let's see here. Let me see, do they have a Hadouken pose on the back of the box? Wow, they do not have a Hadouken pose on the back of the box. That's crazy. I'm actually surprised by that. Okay, so I have no reference, but, basically something like that, Hadouken, right? It doesn't have a Hadouken effect though, only the Shoryuken effect. And let's now look at the stand he has. And you notice as well, there's a wash throughout the pants and stuff too, yeah. All right, let's get the stand here. All right. Don't want to break anything. All right, here we go. Now, I've never used one of these storm stands before, so this is like alien technology for me. Okay, I'm gonna assume this just goes here. And this is probably actually disappearing in the green screen, so I might disable the green screen for this part, just so it doesn't like completely vanish, because it's like semi-transparent or whatever. So, here we have the stand. Not sure what this is for. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is for, actually. Okay, anyways, let's see here. So, okay, oh, well, just popped out, okay. So I guess you put this around his waist, right? I assume. Okay, and then you put it down into here, right? Do you? Oh boy, I don't know, hold on. They don't even show you like how to use this thing. Yeah, I don't want to break this, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna see how you use this exactly. All right, so it seems that you do use it in the way I was thinking. So let me just be brave and push this down here. Okay, oh darn it. Hold on. See, I don't want to break it. I'm very worried about breaking this thing, honestly. Hold on. No, I'm not gonna risk it. If you want to see how to use that stand, I'm sure there are other reviews who were braver. I don't want to risk that thing snapping. I don't like that, the way you have to like squeeze it together and stuff. Yeah, not for me, but it obviously works well enough for the promo images. So yeah, as far as this part, I don't know what the heck this is for. Like, honestly, I couldn't tell you. In fact, let me try to find out. Okay, so according to Richie Fig's review, all he did was put this around Ken's waist and then just plop it in there. But, you see, it's still kind of, let me see, the balancing of it is the issue here. Let's put it at the end here, right? So it has a bit more, yeah, there we go. So I guess that's how you would use it. I thought you would have to like press that down in there, but I guess you don't have to. So let's like make him do a flying kick or something. Right, all right. And then, oh dear, the hand again. Yeah, that's probably one of the downsides of the soft rubber. I prefer the soft rubber though, so it's fine. Let's see here. Put the hand back on. Oh dear. All right, good. Hand back on. Oh, and you can adjust this thing too. Okay. So he's like this, right? Like that. Let's twist his waist a bit or something. And then have him like that. Almost like he's doing a kick as he's charging a Hadouken or something, you know? So that's basically how you use that thing. As far as this part, I don't know. I guess you could use it the same way, perhaps. I don't want to snap this thing. Hold on. All right, take that off. I will say there are some well, actually it kind of rubbed off. All right, whatever. So I guess put this around his waist and then push this one down into here. I don't know. Oh dear, look, I'm not trying to break anything. Look, I'm not doing it. So anyways, that's the stand for you. You can, there are like adjustable rivets and that kind of stuff, right? You can carry it up and down. You can adjust this thing. Yeah, I would say the stand design needs to be, if possible, improved to be a bit more intuitive. I feel like it's a strange technology that you got to kind of figure out how to do it, and they don't even include instructions. So that's a downside. Like if you have this kind of stuff in your package or whatever, like you should have instructions for like how to use it, because even Essek Figuarts, when they include stands, they have instructions for how to use the stands, They even have instructions for how to change the faceplates out, and that's kind of like, very basic stuff. So Storm Collectibles, Storm Arena, they should include instructions for the stand or improve the technology to make it more intuitive and less like something you have to try to like figure out, It's kind of very strange technology. But anyways, let us now move on to the comparison to, of course, as you would have guessed, Jada Toys Ken. All right, so here they are side by side. Storm Arena Ken, Jada Toys Ken. Of course, you can see the Storm Arena, the sculpt in the face and stuff is much more, kind of like sharp and detailed, whereas the Jada Toys is a bit more cartoony. But I mean, they both work because the Street Fighter 2 sprites and stuff for like this one were pretty cartoony. So, I mean, they both look pretty good. Jada Toys here is also soft, so that's cool. I noticed the waist on my Jada Toys Ken is kind of bugged out. I don't know why it's like, yeah, you see that? I don't know what's going on there, but they look very, very similar, different skin tones. The Jada Toys one is more like tanned, whereas the Alpha one is a bit paler. But yeah, so the gis look very similar as well. They both have that dark wash thing going on. Jada Toys does not have the toe articulation, of course. Their newer figures do have the toe articulation, at least some of them. And I think going forward from like the next wave on, they'll all have the toe articulation like Storm Marina has. And Jada Toys does not have the drop down hips. So it's just, you know, regular articulation there. So no drop down hips there for Jada. See the brown gloves versus the yellow gloves, shorter hair, that kind of thing. So, you know, I like both of them. This is Street Fighter 2. This is Street Fighter Alpha 3. And they both are pretty good figures, but yes, Storm is definitely, it looks, you know, it has a higher quality feel to it. And the sculpting and everything is much more sharp and detailed. And of course, they're about the same height. I forgot to mention that part. They're basically the same height. Let me see. There's not much of a height difference here. You know, the Jada Toys might be slightly taller, but it's nothing major. You know, they're very, very similar in height as well. Here's the Alpha 3 Ken next to Jada Toys Ryu. Pretty much the same height once again. Very similar bodies, of course. He has a darker skin tone. And yeah, I mean, this Ryu does look really good too. So, you know, Jada Toys is solid as well. Just that Storm is like, you know, has that really more realistic, sharp, detailed kind of look to it, you know? So yeah, but this is him next to Ryu. And here he is next to the giant Jada Toys Sagat and Jada Toys M. Bison. So yeah, here is my current Street Fighter figure collection. Years ago, I had the SH Figuarts Vega, but I no longer have that. And the Jada Toys Vega is actually on the way right now. Big Bad Toy Store has shipped it as far as I'm aware. So I should have that one very, very soon. And I'm really looking forward to Akuma. And I think that's it, honestly. Just Akuma from the Street Fighter 2 line. As I said, I'm a very, very niche Street Fighter collector. I don't collect like all the characters and stuff. I have very, very specific people that I collect, which would be Vega, Akuma, Ryu, Ken, and Bison, Sagat. And I do want them at some point, hopefully someone, makes a Street Fighter for Gouken and Oni. And I think once I have those two, I don't think there are any other Street Fighter figures that I would really, really want like that, you know, because I like Street Fighter generally. I generally enjoy a lot of Street Fighter stuff, but I'm not like, you know, super into Street Fighter the same way I'm into like Dragon Ball or wrestling, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching and looking forward to what, you know, Storm Arena releases next, what Jada Toys decides to work on after the, you know, Street Fighter 2 line ends, whether that's Alpha 3 or something else. And yeah, bye for now.